Hello, everyone. Army of Quad here again. And as I've been talking about for a while, I've been planning a SQ decoder shootout. And this originally started with conversation about decoders and software decoding, and the new Involve decoder has been getting a lot of talk, a lot of good things said about it. Um, and people have been curious, what can it do? How does it compare to other things? And since I've, taken on doing some tests, it just seemed natural. Next thing to do, SQ shootout. And in the comments or the description of this video are two links. One link is to a text document that explains what this is and has some kind of instructions or guidelines to go by. And the other link is for a ISO image of a DVD audio video disc. This time I decided to keep it a little shorter than the EV4 shootout. The disc comes to about 50 minutes long, so there's 4 songs. So you can break it up into 2 sessions if you want to cut it in half and do 2 songs per session, or if you have 50 minutes to put aside for this. That will work as well. So go ahead, grab the image, burn it to a DVD-R, or dissect it however you want to. If you want to rip it and just play it off your PC if you're set up for that. And yeah, it was very hard to put this together. I talk about that some in the notes, but there's so much material to choose from. And I was immediately like, oh well, we've got to include rock and classical. Put a few different classical tracks on there. Oh, we gotta get on there some Santana. We gotta get on there some Chicago. We gotta get on there a chase with the trumpets moving around the room and the ping pong effect, and so many things I was thinking about, and it was just kind of overwhelming to try to narrow it down to a reasonable length. I mean, as it was, the EV4 shootout was kind of long. And that was a format I was struggling to come up with material for. So I kind of whittled it down, and I kind of find myself questioning myself, did I cut it down too short? And I think these 4 tracks are good representation. I think that in some ways, some of these tracks may even be a stress test for SQ decoding. And they're ones that I've certainly found interesting for certain reasons to bring up whenever I'm analyzing or looking at SQ and what different equipment can do. So I hope you like my selection. And if I did prepare other tracks, so if there's interest to go on, I can certainly put a disc 2 up that continues that on if you want to take on some more tracks. Just let me know in the comments or shoot me a line. And but yeah, this is kind of the main focus. This shootout, as the instructions explain, focuses strictly on hardware decoders. The Fosgate Tate II has a reputation of being the best of the best SQ decoders, and the Involve SQ Vinyl Edition has been getting rave reviews, and certainly they sound different from one another. And I thought it would be a good starting point to compare the best of the vintage decoders to this modern decoder that's getting great reviews, and see how they stack up against one another. And then after that, we're going to move on to the next round, which will be the same tracks, and we'll put hardware decoder up against software decoder. And I think for each track, I'll pick whichever hardware decoder got the most votes and put that up against the software decode of the same track. Because if I put 2 decoders and a software up against one another, and you got to compare 3 different decodings to the discrete and pick which one of the 3, I think that starts to get a little challenging, and that also adds the length of it. So I really kind of felt like doing this in 2 stages and just putting the best hardware up against software was probably the best way to handle this. So yeah, grab the files. Any questions, let me know. I can certainly be reached through comments here. My email address is in the text document, armyofquad@gmail.com. Certainly, you can find me over on the Quadrophonic Quad forums, and just let me know if you have any questions, any comments. And I don't have a deadline on this because I know it was a challenge to get people to participate in the EV4 shootout. I'm hoping with this being a more standard format, it generates more interest. I certainly want to give everyone adequate time to get their selections in, and I know how busy things can be and how hard it can be to find time to dedicate an hour to this. So, let's, try to not go longer than a month. So if before the end of February you can get results in, and we'll see what the feedback is, and sometime around the end of February I'll probably start trying to prepare to put this together. So yeah, enjoy. Hope you have fun with it, and I look forward to seeing the results.